You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Arrow After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Arrow After Show.
Hello, Arrow fans. Welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV. Thank you for coming back and joining us for the after show. I'm your host, Alikona Bradford, joined by...
Hi, how you guys doing? I am Michael Durjan. Nickname is Mowgli. Remember it.
Yes, and for those of you who follow me on Twitter, we were talking a little bit about... We apologize. We were supposed to have a special guest this evening, but last minute, unfortunately, something came up. She wasn't able to make it, but we will do our best to get her to come in. And next time, I'm not going to tweet until she's physically in the building, so I don't, like, tease you guys.
Yeah, we want to get you guys amped up, but at the same time, I think that's the second time she was almost on the show, and unfortunately, conflicts created within 4 hours of our showtime that she wasn't going to make it.
It happens. Hey,
Sorry,
you know
Ryan.
what? When you're a celebrity, duty calls, press releases. She has a really big movie that's coming out tonight, premiering in London, so who knows? We'll talk about that later on tonight.
Right.
But until we get to that, let's talk about the show, Suicide Squad. It's an episode that we've been really looking forward to. So glad, I don't know about you, but to have a Diggle-centric episode.
Oh my gosh, I thought it was an amazing episode for getting Diggle into his stride, having him be like the center of attention and the focus of the episode. Honestly, what's going on with Oliver is more of a side story. Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, wow.
But it's cool because this season, mid-season, they're starting to actually do that because before, season 1, first half of season 2, it was all flashbacks of just the island. And then we started seeing flashbacks of Laurel and what happened before the shipwreck, and now we're actually getting to see flashbacks of Diggle. I'm still ready for the Felicity ones.
Right.
But I really enjoyed tonight's episode.
I don't think there's many flashbacks for Felicity. It's probably very boring, like her sitting at a computer growing up.
You don't know that. She does not know who her daddy is, okay?
Yeah, okay.
So there could be a big episode. We had some Twitter followers.
Welcome to 70% of America.
Do not interrupt a lady when she is talking. So we had some Twitter followers that tweeted out that they thought that maybe somehow oddly Slade Wilson was her father. I feel like there's too much of an age clash for that theory. Right. But who knows? It could be some random evil person. That would make for a really amazing storyline. Yeah,
definitely. I would love to see Slade's storyline for his backstory before the island, how he was trained to be what he is.
Well, before the island, and then what happened to him in between with the Mirakuru, and now he's a creeper.
I think we'll get that.
Yeah, well, I'll talk about the creeper moment because there was one for me in this episode. But let's start with the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we start off and Oliver's in bed with Sarah. And it's weird because it's not been that many episodes and now they're full-blown back into this super serious relationship.
Wait, they weren't really in bed together, though.
Yes, they were. He had the dream, right? He woke up. And he was like, oh my God, I think Sarah's bleeding and it's Shadow. Right. Then he shook himself and awoke out of his nightmare. And she was in the background sleeping next to him.
I didn't see that. I just saw him and I thought he was alone in the bed.
She was there too.
Oh, no way.
So I'm all, I mean, don't get me wrong. We were both saying I like the dynamic. I don't want to say that because, I'm Team Olicity. But I do like the dynamic because she's his rock. He doesn't realize it just yet. But, because, every lady is a man's rock. Yeah. But, but no, I love that she will not be pushed away. She will not, and that's a huge theme for him. Even though he was the backstory, I feel like that was a big theme tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll honestly agree with you there, and I'll definitely say that this is AfterBuzz TV. So at AfterBuzz TV, we talk about the buzz. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are buzzing about exactly what you just said. Sarah and Oliver's relationship is absolutely something that's been dynamically growing from the moment they got onto the ship together. And I think the hardest thing for us as people that are watching the show is being able to accept that he could be dating or having sex with someone that is the sister of his ex-girlfriend / almost fiance, if you will. Someone that actually helped him to even push through being on the island because he wanted to find them again and fall in love with them again.
Right.
And the idea that him and Sarah are breaking into this side relationship scares me, because I think there's a lot of foreshadowing that we're noticing in this dream that might be leading us into a situation where Sarah may possibly die. I think a lot of us have been wondering and thinking, is that going to happen?
But do you think that just because everybody's theory, or not theory, but the thing is that ideally Laurel is supposed to be the Black Canary. So is that why you feel like you're going towards that hunch?
I mean, I don't really want to predict what Laurel is or isn't supposed to be. I don't see her character arc really falling into being the Black Canary from a personal perspective, you know?
Yeah, she's not there yet.
She doesn't have that. There's no way she's ever going to develop that athleticism. Not unless we take a break for 2 years.
True, that's true. Because even though she's smart, right? But she doesn't have that physical ability. The way Katie Lotz just came into it, and she obviously got all that from being on the island.
Right. You got to realize Oliver was trained on the island by someone like Slade, obviously by Shadow, by people that have immense background in being able to be covert ops like assassins. And then you also have Sarah, who's trained by the League of Assassins.
Right.
And anyway, no matter how you slice it, Diggle is the best at fighting on a normal level.
Well,
so
that's
he's he's just
former military,
which literally doesn't even compete in any aspect or any sense with someone like Arrow or excuse me, someone like Oliver, someone like, you know, Black Canary or Sarah, whatever you want to say. So basically what we're dealing with is there's no way we're going to be able to see someone like Katie Cassidy, Laurel, come to a point where she's going to be able to fight at that caliber. The best she could hope for is to fight at Diggle's caliber.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, she just would have to go into some serious training, which would be over a long period of time during the show. Or, like you said, over a break between season 2, season 3.
Right.
They come back and it's been 5 months later. But I hate when shows do that.
5 months is not near. It'd have to be like 2 years later, and it'd have to be intense training, like she leaves and goes away. I mean, she was trained. I mean, Sarah was trained by the League of Assassins, like Ra's al Ghul type guys. These are the guys who trained Batman in the Batman Begins storyline. But more so, I'll say, like, the other thing that's really crazy about it is that if you take a look at how they've developed it, I don't think that she could be the Black Canary, which makes me feel like maybe they'll keep Sarah around. But if they're building this relationship between Oliver and Sarah, the way they're building it, and they are sneaky writers, which we've learned, that do things sometimes that just really surprise us and we love them for it, they could kill Sarah. And that's what I'm really worried about right now. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are buzzing about it. So feel free to tweet at us. Feel free to Facebook us. You can find me at twitter.com/mmowgli, MOWGLI.
And you can find me at Kiss My Passport. I will leave all my plugs towards the end of the show, but leave it to Mike to always bring them up at the beginning. But that's okay, because you can tweet us in the middle of the show. We're having a conversation, but we'll try our best to pay attention to our phones.
Exactly.
But while we are talking about plugs, just for right now, I want to talk about our executive producer. If you guys don't know, which I know you do, is Maria Menounos. And she has a brand new reality television show that just came out. It aired last night, so we want to show you a little preview.
That'd be awesome.
Tuesdays on Oxygen.
I'm Maria Menounos, and my life can get a little crazy. I host Extra. I'm an actor, producer, dancer, wrestler, and a lot of other things. I live with Kevin, my boyfriend of 15 years. Do you really love me?
I would say that I'm in serious like.
And my parents. Yep, I just said I live with my parents.
You drive me crazy.
You drive me crazy. My parents want us to get married.
You both love each other. Get married.
Kevin and I don't. I am going to get married when I want to get married. I think I want kids. Kevin definitely doesn't want them now.
This is being pushed on to us.
And of course, my parents wanted them yesterday.
This year, you gotta have it.
And I have a house full of people counting on me financially. If I take my eye off the ball, everything can fall apart.
It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or wants us to do. It's what we want to do.
Everyone thinks that they know what's best for me, but I'm really the only one. I have got to figure things out.
Chasing Maria Menounos is so new. Every Tuesday at 10, 9 Central, starting March 18, only on Oxygen.
Oh, that's right. Clap us in, clap us in. I don't know why we just did that, but okay. While you guys are watching the preview, we were doing a little wave action. You missed it, but maybe next episode we'll give it to you.
I thought they were seeing us that whole time.
No, they were watching the preview. But anyhow, talking about relationships, one last piece that I want to leave you in talking about Laurel, something that she said, which is interesting. We're seeing a little bit more maturity from Laurel, and partially maybe because she's sober, partially because she got a slap of reality, a truth bomb, as my other host Alex Angrita likes to say, truth bomb about how she's been the past few years. And it was a really quick flip. You know, she's trying to give Oliver advice on her sister. Awkward. That was so, I don't know about you, that was weird to me, but I love what she said. I jotted it down as far as, because she's dealt with being pushed away just like Oliver's doing right now to Sarah. But she said, you know, you might be keeping at her arms like to protect her, but you're actually protecting yourself.
I mean, I honestly think that it wasn't a shock. I was really excited. I don't know if you guys were. Feel free to tweet, Facebook, whatever. But I'll say I thought it was really awesome because, you know, up until this point, we see Oliver and Sarah being more of a fling. And to be able to see that they could actually be a real thing, because you know, a fling is the best they could be as long as Laurel is having the attitude she's having towards the relationship.
Well, no, they could still have a relationship. I just feel like it would have to be a down low relationship. Now it can be out in the open relationship,
which could be a blossoming and real organic relationship.
But I think that, you know, also too, though, I feel like they went through so much on the island, it creates a bond on its own, you know? So that's why their relationship is able to be so strong. Because all this obsession with Slade, the only person who really, truly can get it is her, because she knows Slade. She knows everything about him. She experienced Slade.
She knows all of Oliver's history for the last 5 years.
Right.
And I mean, just the simple fact that he thought she was dead and he felt responsible for her death, about them falling off. Well, that's kind of weird because, you know, we think that Oliver feels guilty for her death off the boat, but then we find out in the flashbacks that he's hung out with her way after that point.
Right.
So, you know, starting in season 1, seeing the level of guilt that supposedly existed didn't make sense. Which really... No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, but you don't know what... Because our flashbacks are so far back in time, we don't know the rest of the story on the island. So for all we know, there could be a moment right before Oliver escapes that something happened and she did die.
Right, exactly.
You know, so we don't know.
Well, that's the thing. Oliver thought she was dead is supposedly the storyline now.
Right.
She says to him, Oliver, if anything ever happens to me and you see my family, just tell them that I died on the boat. She said that a couple episodes ago, right? So that being said, something happens on the island where Sarah inevitably almost seems as if she died with
and the not Suicide Squad.
And then then League of Assassins takes her in.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's cool to talk about. It's interesting to see that perspective and that, and it's an interesting factoid to think that Oliver and her have developed this relationship and that bond has began from the moment they fell off the boat. That's much stronger than the relationship between him and Laurel, which is hard to want to swallow because I love Laurel. I think she's absolutely gorgeous. But Katie Cassidy's,
we know you
absolutely.
Love Laurel.
But Katie's definitely not second place. You know what I mean? Like, they're both equally beautiful girls, but I would just say that I like the idea that he was sitting on the island looking at a picture of Laurel trying to get back to the lady he loved, kind of, you know?
Yeah,
It's very Shakespearean romance in the end.
Yeah.
But, and then again, Shakespearean romances end in tragedy, so maybe it's better this way.
So all this talk of romance, talk to me a little bit about what you feel as far as Diggle and the Lila relationship.
Okay, Diggle and Lila relationship, I would say ex-wife, they're still hooking up, bad news.
There's a reason you broke up.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
You do not hook up with someone you don't hook up with people you break up with.
Their relationship seriously confused me. Not them. How about this? Diggle. Okay, he had said something to her along the lines of, you know, she's saying like, why don't we talk? You're so much more relaxed, this, that, whatever. And he's like, because when we talk, we end up getting divorced.
Right.
Good point. However, and I don't mean to jump ahead. We'll talk about their whole dynamic. But at the very end of the show, I was left going, what? Because the line that he gave to her as Deadshot's going back into his cell, you know, throughout the whole experience that they had, he's like, you were a woman that I don't even recognize you anymore because she's so ruthless and so, I don't know if she's saying gray area because there's mention of gray area and black and white and how they're different in the way they think because he's the old him, she's developed into this other woman he doesn't recognize. So at that point, when he tells her, you know, last night the man that killed my brother showed more humanity than you did.
Right.
I don't know if that's the exact wording, but I'm thinking, okay, he's about to diss her. Good, because I don't like you this episode, right?
Right.
Then he goes, I realized that I could never live without you. Grabs her face, smushy kiss.
Well, I don't get it.
What?
Don't get it twisted.
Wait, what happened? Did I miss something? Please break it down for me.
Anything. Yeah, no, you didn't miss anything. But what happened there was a classic situation.
What's the classic situation?
It's called deprived. It's called deprived D syndrome.
You know what though? But he can.
I don't know.
He can go
like
get
a little
some
kid.
somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
No,
he's not a bad-looking dude. He's ripped. He's a gentleman. He can go get it somewhere else. Why from a woman? To me, that is so unattractive. When you have it ugly inside, why do I want your outside?
I don't know why I'm pretending to be scared. Listen, this is what it is. She puts out.
So there's plenty of other women that probably do the same thing.
You don't understand. When you're a black man in America, getting a white girl is a big thing.
Oh my goodness. Shut your face right now.
Oh, God, I love my life.
You know what? Don't listen to him. And if you're offended, I am so sorry. You can go ahead and tweet at him right now.
Any black man in America knows we'll take that girl down and we'll stay with her the rest of our lives as long as she's putting out. If she breaks up with us, we'll cry about it.
Okay, you know what? Okay, so anyways, going back to Lila, I didn't care for her this episode because she is so all about work. And taking orders from Amanda Waller, who I don't care for either because she was equally as ruthless.
Right.
I understand that the people that you've gotten together on this Suicide Squad, they're all criminals. They've all killed people. So I get your mentality. Like, their life is not as valuable to you. So you put them on this death sentence, if you will, death mission, right? But she was also going to kill a whole building full of people. Just, I don't know, like, the whole thing was just twisted. She lied. Right. She exploded people from bombs in their brains.
Right.
What?
Yeah, no, they're crazy. Yeah, absolutely.
And this is a government organization?
Yeah, but I'm sure there's like, obviously there's some fiction, it's somewhat fictitious in the idea that they would like just go around that and just employ convicts to do this. But at the same time, you got to realize these are some of the best assassins in the world. Not to mention the fact, let's also put into perspective, these guys have killed hundreds of people each without any level of mercy. And if you take a look at the real conscience of someone that's part of the Suicide Squad, these people don't care about having any sort of reasonable, I don't know, conscience. So the idea about it is that you don't care. They are expendable, but they're the best at what they do. They'll probably be able to live. They're worth spending the money on. And if they die, it's serving their penance. Right. Right? Yeah.
I mean, logically, I get it. Yeah. I get it. Right. But at the same time, just coming from such a professional position, I just don't think that that's okay. Right. And the other thing I was going to say, too, so the people that she picked, right, Deadshot, I was really wondering how Diggle and Deadshot were going to end up on the same team. I liked their relationship. I thought it was very interesting. Bronze Tiger and Shrapnel. He hasn't even been, I mean, we've talked about his name. He briefly showed up in another episode, but we've not seen a lot of him. So it was interesting that they chose him. I know at one point we were like, who is that? Is that the doll maker? Wait, no, is he alive? What's going on? Right. But yeah, and then he went and got his brains exploded, so...
If we don't know. The thing about the entire universe that we're dealing with when we're watching these shows is that so many people I think are dead or dying, and they end up still being alive. So we didn't actually see him die. So we don't know.
Wait, Shrapnel?
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, supposedly she pushed the button. We saw him going crazy and grabbing his head. We don't know if he actually, like...
Right. Exactly.
Which
he could have easily lived through that.
Maybe.
If he knew where that sensor was in the back of his neck, being shrapnel as he is, we could easily assume that he might have just been able to cut it out.
That was really weird.
Break the glass window, grab a piece of glass, cut it, and pull it out. I don't know. I mean, it could have happened.
Guess, okay, this is why I didn't like what she did when saying she, Amanda Waller.
All right, of course.
Okay, so they have this whole mission, whatever. They're in this exclusive charity event, and here comes Deadshot down. She already knew, that what was it called? Please help me out.
For what?
I want to call it an anti-venom. It's not an anti-venom. Nerve agent.
Yeah, nerve agent.
Okay. She knew it wasn't big enough to put in your pocket, so she sent them on this
She knew it was too big.
Yeah, there you go. Right, it wasn't big enough to put in. And so looking at it, okay, I got my little view. He looked at it through his little eyeglass thing. I know what it looks like now. Okay, cool, let's blow it up.
Right, exactly.
Like, you knew, like, you didn't even have any hope for them. Like, you just tricked and lied to them.
Oh, right? She's vindictive.
Very much so. But I didn't predict or see that coming as far as the thing being implanted in the back of his neck, and as they're driving away, how Lila just cuts into the back of his neck and yanks out the chip.
Right.
Oh, the whole time I was watching that, cool, but at the same time grabbing my stomach just a little bit. Like, ooh.
We didn't have to see it.
Well, no, but it's just the thought of it. Blah. Ouch. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, in general, Amanda Waller is just a cheap... You can tell that she has so many levels of deception and being deceitful, and how well the character is being played is unbelievable. I'm so sorry, I forget the actress's name, but when you look at even the way that she treats Diggle, when she sees them at the hotel room, the way that she treats them, and the way she says, oh, yeah, I've spent my time in a hotel room before, like, you know, like trying to say how, like saying it's a cheap way to a woman to spend her time kind of thing. She just is constantly throwing cheap shots, and she constantly is just doing her own agenda, and she literally doesn't care to tell anyone what that agenda is. As long as she knows what it is, that's all that matters to her. It's good to see her checked by Oliver, though.
Okay, but this is what I want to ask you. Can you clarify for me, because I could have missed it.
Right.
How does she know that Oliver is the Green Arrow? Or Arrow at this point.
I'm not really sure of the history between them. It hasn't been clarified.
Okay.
So you don't. It's literally opening up a new door. Right. That there's a relationship that exists between the two of them that's well outside of our understanding right now.
Right.
There's not been anything in season 1 or season 2 to build that for us. Although, based on the comics, we know there has to be a direct relationship between Amanda Waller and Arrow. Right. But in the show, we haven't seen that yet.
But what's interesting to me is at the beginning of the show, when she makes mention of Oliver to Diggle, she makes it seem like she doesn't care much for him.
Right.
But at the very end of the show, we see her walk in, see Oliver with the hood on. So obviously she's like, oh, hey, Ollie, like, sup?
Right.
And then he makes his mention of Slade Wilson, and she immediately, without hesitation, is like, actually, I might have some information for you, and just shares it right away. So obviously she doesn't see him as an enemy, or at least I don't think so, because she was quick to help.
Yeah, and if you look on the glass of the room, I know I said this to you earlier, but I'll say it again for you guys. We definitely need to buzz about this and just get this going. For Argus, we know that Argus stands for the Advanced Research Group Uniting Superhumans. But in the show, it didn't say that. It said Advanced Research Group United
Humanitarian.
It said United something, but it didn't say anything about superhumans. So
no, you're right.
It said something else. So it means that they're making a distinction for us and giving us a very distinct answer that they're not going to allow us to have superhumans. Because, you know, a big part about Suicide Squad is they used to aid the Justice League, which involved Aquaman, you know, obviously Superman, a strew of different people from the comic book history. So when you look at something like that, you know that automatically the Justice League and Superman and those kind of things aren't going to enter into this world. Although we have already decided that we're doing a spin-off show.
I would say, well, we briefly saw The Flash or the beginnings of what will become The Flash with Grant.
Which they're allowing. And also another big crazy hiccup in this show was Harley Quinn coming in. Do you know?
Oh yeah, somebody else tweeted about that too. Ryan with Allison, I think you were the one who tweeted about that.
So Harley is the Joker's right-hand woman. She's unbelievable, right and left hand. She's crazy. She comes from a broken home. The Joker took her in, raised her to be just as crazy as him. She literally can go toe-to-toe with Batman. She has incredible strength, great agility. Like she's an acrobat. She's literally a beautiful, crazy mind. And it's true. Like I mean, honestly, all of us love her. It was really exciting to hear her voice because in the DC world, Harley Quinn is not just like your stereotypical villain. She's literally, I mean, the Joker is one of the most powerful villains in all the history of all the DC comics, right? He's the arch enemy of Batman. So when you take that into consideration and how much of a mastermind and how diabolical the Joker is, and this is his right-hand girl, and we know we may never get to see the Joker in the DC universe on WB. It's really, again, which we have seen before, obviously, but it's really nice to see that they're giving us something. You know what I mean? Just giving us Harley is so much fun. It's just great. I really enjoyed it. I was really excited about it.
I wonder if that's, I mean, I don't know if we're going to end up down in that lair again. I assume that we will somehow in the future because at the end of the episode we hear Amanda talk to Lila about, you know, how the chip was in the neck and now we're just gonna have to prep people and start putting it in the spine because that was just way too easy and that shouldn't have happened, right?
Exactly.
You know, so she excuse me, as they're putting him away, him meaning Deadshot, obviously
we both know it won't make it that long.
Yeah, well, he may not make it that long, but not even that. We might end up back in that facility again, and if so, will we hear her again?
I would love to we will end up back in that facility again. Yeah. We have to. I mean, that's those characters that are in that squad are part of its own line of comics. You know what I mean? Like, and I think the writers know by introducing the Suicide Squad, they're introducing a group of people that all can be applied to the realm that we're dealing in. You know, the realm that we're in. So it's awesome, and I think we're going to see a lot of. I mean, obviously, this is I'm guessing here, so I shouldn't say that, but I think from what we've seen already, we know there's going to be a stronger presence from Amanda Waller, and especially from
now. Do you think somewhere in there though that those individuals that are on the Suicide Squad will go from bad to good?
I think a lot of them have gone from bad to good, but in the end, I mean, they are bad people in the end, though. So you're right. No, I don't.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just asking because it was interesting to watch Deadshot because obviously season 1 I hated him. Season 2 he made a brief appearance and I was like, ooh, Diggle, get him. You know, and for a moment there we see a softer side of him. And he's more approachable, and then he's actually opening up to Diggle just through conversation, but I didn't know personally that he had a daughter, right?
Well, yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, and I was gonna say, just hearing him talk about his daughter and him acknowledging the fact in a sense that not that he's a screw up, but he is a screw up because of all the things that he's done, and the best thing he can do is stay out of her life, right? But he obviously has some still love for her. Even, you know, you quit doing those hand motions, those balancing act hand motions, because here's the thing. At that one moment, first of all, it caught me off guard that he's so just, you know, my life is not worth living anymore for whatever reason. I don't know what changed his mind because he was cool before he got caught, but now all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm not really worth living. You know, I may as well blow up in this room. And Diggle actually saves him in a sense by playing a mind game with him and saying, hey, like, you have plenty to live for. Live for your daughter. And it didn't even take much. Deadshot was like, okay.
Right.
I mean, not that exact response, but you know what I mean? It wasn't like he needed to convince him a lot. He just heard the name Zoe and was like, oh,
but
okay.
I think we can both agree that Deadshot hasn't changed from season 1 till now. I mean, Deadshot has never been the guy who is extremely hateful. Everything he's done is just for the top dollar bidder. Even killing people's for the top dollar bidder. He's just good at doing something.
But now we know that all these dollars are going into account for his daughter.
Right, that makes sense, right? But I guess the thing is that, so what I'm trying to say is Deadshot never changed. Like, you know, you're like, do you see these guys changing from good to bad? Deadshot is clearly a character that has never changed his attitude, his perspective, or the way that he thinks. He doesn't hate Diggle. He never did. He didn't even hate his brother. It was the person that paid him to kill Diggle's brother.
You're right.
And even in every other situation, it's just someone that paid him. It's all about the money to him, and that hasn't changed.
Right.
If he gets the opportunity to leave and somehow get out of the Suicide Squad and going back to being a single villain, if that makes sense, he's definitely going to still pay. It's still about the top dollar to him. His actual attitude towards Diggle seems to be pretty solid, and even in the fact that that guy almost killed Diggle in this episode, and he shot him.
Yeah.
Protecting him. Look behind you. Boom. Got him. You know what I mean?
But what do you think, and this is not a prediction by any means, but what do you think he's actually saving that money for? Yes, his daughter, but if he's all about his money and all these immense amounts, right? Is she sick? Is something going on? Like, what is it for?
I don't know. I think the motive behind him is simply that he is the best at delivering that shot. I mean, he literally can compete with the Arrow at putting a precision shot down on someone. So with that being said, I don't know if it's necessarily about the money. I think the money by itself is the motive for him to be able to unleash what he loves to do. You know what I mean?
Psycho man.
Well, everybody wants to get paid for what they're great at.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I just happen to be good at killing people. Whatever, no big.
And I'm good at accents, as we all know.
Right. But how many of you guys are tweeting about that one?
Yeah, I will. But hey, they do get tweets, just so you know.
I'm sure
Positive or negative, they get tweets.
I'm sure they do.
But what I will say more so is, how did you feel about what we've got going on here with Diggle and
How did
Felicity?
I feel about it?
What do you feel like we're going?
Literally.
I was trying to do Slade.
That's the best word I can say in an accent.
What?
Yeah.
What did you think about? What did you think about Diggle and Felicity? I have an honest question for you. How would you feel if there's a relationship that develops out of that?
Here's the thing. I could see it, and the only reason I could see it is because, and this is why it would and wouldn't work, in a sense, they have very bland personalities, but they don't, right? They're both very smart, very technical in their own realm. So I could see why they could be in a relationship, because you see Oliver and he's with this action-packed girl, and it makes sense. Oh, yeah. But there's opposites attract. Like the similarities are too much and make too much sense. Okay. So I don't see that happening, although they're both very endearing characters. I'm still going to go for the underdog. I'm still going to go for Felicity. Oh, wow. And I feel like with Diggle, Diggle, you need to ditch your ex-wife, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah,
she's your ex for a reason.
Need to let it go.
He needs a girl with a golden heart. That's what he needs. A very sweet, smart, but sharp girl. And somebody who understands his lifestyle. So maybe somebody who can be a part of the team, because you can't have a relationship with somebody and have that secret lifestyle.
You know what's crazy? You actually just described Felicity to me. Good luck with that.
Shut up. No, I did not.
Yes, you did. Someone that can be part of the lifestyle, and then someone that's really smart.
Okay, yes, she is on Team Arrow, but she's the quirky little cute girl, right? Little bit awkward. She, to me, and this is me just fighting, okay? This is me fighting for Felicity, but I feel like they make sense.
Right.
Yes, Sarah makes sense with him now, but that can go for a little while, and then we'll get over it. No. And then with Diggle, I just think he needs a fresh face.
Right.
But yeah, I want to see him with somebody good.
Right.
But a little bit opposite, because when you have the opposites, that's where you get the balance from, and you can check each other on stuff.
Right. And out of curiosity, I want to ask you this too. How did you feel about the fight sequence in the beginning? With
Oliver and the Russians. Yeah. Okay, please, first of all, it wasn't even a competition. He took them down like that. Hey, you bring up a quite mighty good point that I wanted to bring up that you guys don't care about. But I just would like to say that I really appreciate that Stephen Amell makes the effort to speak Russian. Lord knows if his accent is on point or not, because I don't speak Russian. But I will say it's very sexy when he does it.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I'm working on Spanish right now.
All right, do you want to give us a little sample of that?
Are you kidding me? Eso es demasiado caro. That is too expensive.
Really? That's the phrase you decided to...
Yeah, I say it to the lady who sells me burritos every night outside of my house.
So Anyhow, gosh, doggy, I was really gonna say something in that burrito comment. Just totally, I tell her every night. I
say "Cuánto cuesta?" and she tells me $4, and I say "Eso es demasiado caro," and then I say "Tiene algo más barato," which means do you have anything cheaper?
Such a cheapskate, lady. See, don't date him.
I eat there every night. I'm trying to watch my weight.
Okay, by eating burritos. So
veggie burritos.
Veggie burritos with a big fluffy tortilla, but. Going back into our storyline and Oliver, this episode, he was totally obsessed with Slade, not sleeping, not eating. First of all, man, you need your rest and your nourishment if you're going to take someone like Slade down. A. B, you need to let people help you. He's trying to do this all on his own. And I think you had mentioned before as far as like the type of training that Slade has. But in combination where he's got the mirror of Kuru in his system, you're bonkers if you think you're going to take him one-on-one.
You know what would be great? I was going to say as well, you know what would be the only way that it could work for Sarah to be replaced as a canary by Laurel? If Laurel got injected with Mirakuru somehow.
This is true, but she would still have to learn how to manage herself because we have Roy who still doesn't know how to manage himself. Right. And he's had it in his system for a while. Right. Granted, he's already predisposed to have a bit of a temper, so I don't know how much your genetic makeup will affect how the Mirakuru affects you. Right. You know?
And and also Ryan Wood Allison, one of our loyal friends. Yes. He tweeted something earlier and I really loved it. He put, "Love the Harley Quinn cameo in tonight's episode. She was even voiced by Harley voice actress Tara Strong." How sick is that?
Oh, nice. So good job, CW.
Yeah, so for those of us that like watch the animated, there's like the whole animated Batman series that used to be on the WB as we were kids growing up. Yes. And it was sick, and like that voice, when I heard it, like I was like, oh my god, I was like, that's Harley Quinn. Like as soon as I heard it, that's crazy because I thought it was just someone that did a really good voice over it. I can't believe it was the actual same woman.
That's so cool.
Awesome. Yeah,
that's very cool.
I didn't say it right. Hold on a second. Oh, the cameo in tonight's episode, she was even voiced by Harley voice actress Tara Strong. He's from Wisconsin.
So. It sounded like you were trying to be a leprechaun right now. I don't claim
Ryan,
him.
I got you. I'm gonna get it right. Don't worry.
You know, maybe one of these days, Ryan, you should call in and let him hear your voice. And I am so sorry with whatever he comes up with after he hears your voice. But anyway, we didn't get to see much of Slade Wilson, though. We heard his name a lot. Oliver was obviously trying to chase him down through bank accounts. I am not sure what he actually thought he was going to accomplish with all of that. But where do you think that this is going to go now that Amanda Waller is involved and now giving him a lead?
I think that it's obviously going to go to, I mean, the whole episode, we obviously see the side story of Oliver dealing with the fact that everything's going negative and going down for him, and he feels like Slade's 7 steps ahead of him or 5 steps or whatever he said. He's just way far ahead of him, and he's telling Sarah that. But at the very end of the episode, which is perfect, we find out that Oliver finally has an ace in his hole. Yeah, or ace in his deck. I don't know why I said hole.
I don't know.
What is the hole one? It's not ace in the hole.
Golf ball?
I don't know. He has a ball in the hole.
That just doesn't sound right either.
Regardless, he has an ace in the deck now, which is great to say because we're talking about Harley as well, who dresses up. She's actually, as the Joker sidekick, she dresses up as like a court jester, which is fun.
Well, I'm hoping also, too, now that Oliver's got some sense, right, that he is allowing, good moment. And you even said something about it, too, when we were watching it. When Sarah was having a scene with Oliver and something she said, I hope I wrote it down, and I think I did. But basically... okay. When he's finally opening up to her, right? Right. Because once he opens up and he collects his own team, which is Team Arrow, he has them. He just has to let them in and allow them to help. Right. I know he's trying to protect everybody, but dude, let them help. Yeah, they're all significant in their own way. But anyways, so something that she says to him, he's so concerned about losing her or her being killed. Absolutely. And at the same time, you know what? And this is what Felicity said earlier in the show. If Slade wants to kill me, he's going to kill me. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, nobody can do anything about it because he's so strong at this point. Right. But Sarah says, you know what? Let him come. I'm not easy to kill. Right. And then after that, they do the whole forehead head together bonding moment. Yeah. And she's like, together.
Slade's still
he's like, I was having a moment. Hold on. Now I have to start over again. Okay, ready? Rewind. Forehead to forehead. Together. And then they kiss. Maybe they didn't kiss, but I just it was a very sweet moment.
Yeah, it was. But the reality is that Slade would destroy the canary if a fight breaks out.
Solo, but as a team, what do you think? I mean, with Roy, if they get Roy trained properly, with the Black Canary, with Oliver, with Diggle,
right,
with Felicity smarts, and then on top of that, back information from Amanda Waller.
Okay.
I mean, all those people against this one person, if they can't take him down, wow.
At least they're putting together a good crew to make it seem believable, because the way that Slade is right now and the way we've seen him on the island and the amount of power and finesse this guy has at fighting, and then adding the Mirakuru into it, and then putting him up against the rest of these guys, and the fact that he's robbing banks and has tons of money too. I mean, Slade's got to be... And Slade's not stupid either.
Dude, where's Brother Blood in all this? Where'd he go?
Who cares? But
who cares? I want to know how they met. I want to know if he just happened to hire him and it's all a money deal, or if they have a relationship and later on in the future, Brother Blood's going to show up. Or maybe he's in debt to him somehow. I don't know.
But I think a great part of the episode was, and I think it's worth saying out loud, it's an impossible choice. It was an impossible choice. They admitted it in this episode for Oliver to be able to pick, and Sarah even backed them up on that.
Oh, between
it was an
Shadow?
impossible choice between her and Shadow.
I am so glad you said that because that brings me to my creeper moment.
Oh, nice. Go for it.
So, when Oliver walks in and finds the gentleman that we don't know if it was a Russian guy or not, but with the arrow in his head, and they're in the office, and there's a projection screen, and Oliver turns around and it's Shadow. Old videos of Shadow playing on the wall.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know you're trying to give him a message that this is why I'm doing this, but weird. Like, now you've really gone into sociopath, like psycho.
Why?
Because just you're still obsessing over this woman after this many years. You're going through all of this just to avenge her, right? I don't know. And then just had the video playing and stuff.
That video's from the island.
Well, no, I know that.
No, it's not. I'm lying here.
Oh, it's not?
No, what do you think? He had a digital camera on the island? He recorded her? That's like something.
Well, how the heck did he find it? Then he's even more of a creeper.
Yeah, he went to some place where her and her dad lived and found video of her.
Oh, see, now you're pulling out way too much. Like, you're doing
He
too
had
much.
to.
At what point in your life do you get over it?
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in an insensitive way by any means, because the death is obviously something to mourn.
Right.
But you just flew out. Like,
no, yeah.
Cuckoo.
Slade is 14. Yeah, Slade is 14 steps ahead, and he's.
I didn't see that coming. You know,
7 levels
Slade
of crazy.
seemed like. Okay, here's the thing. Mirakuru didn't make Slade crazy because Roy's not crazy unless it's an advanced version of it.
They're both crazy.
Roy is not crazy.
Roy is incredibly unbalanced.
He's imbalanced, but he was like that before, but he's not crazy, like twisted in the mind. Slade at the beginning of Arrow seemed like a normal dude. Stranded on this island for Lord knows what reason, I don't remember.
Right.
But normal, very logical, very smart individual.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, and I don't know if it's the Mirakuru or just losing somebody that he loved, but he like fell off one.
But I think we can both say that Slade, once the Mirakuru hit him, wasn't 100% crazy. He even said to Oliver, we're like brothers kind of thing. And then when they're on the ship, he's still decent up until that point where he's behind Oliver when he's talking to Doc Ivo. So I think that it's safe to say that even Slade and also Roy are in certain levels of control of the drug, but just the psychological effects of having unlimited power, basically. I mean, Roy can punch through cement and like steel. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, if you think about that, think about a guy who's on steroids. You can easily see where it's like a situation where the steroids make you have this weird like God effect where you think you can just beat everyone up and fight everybody and stuff. And I think it's safe to say that even Roy, we're not seeing enough of him and what he's going through, but the small segments that we've seen since the Mirakuru has hit him has shown strong levels and signs of like a psychosis, if you will. Yeah. So he's surrounded by good people, but that's the only thing holding him together.
What? Sorry, now that you say that, I would love to see flashbacks of Roy's life and how he got to be who he is, because he obviously came from a very unstable family life. Right. But that's definitely something we can talk about in the future episodes. Absolutely. At this point in time, though, I think it's just about that time for a little news and gossip.
Let's do it.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So for right now, I'm handing over the news and gossip to my lovely co-host.
Wait, what do you do? Oh, God.
Oh, pressure. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh.
I only have 7% battery on my Surface. It's dead.
And he's always promoting the Surface. But anyway, I do have a video for you, so we'll put it up whenever we're ready for it. Let me briefly explain. So originally, like we'd mentioned, Katie Lotz was going to be on this evening. Hopefully we'll have her in the future. But in the meantime, I still want to show her some love. She's got a video that's premiering tonight in London called Machine. So here's a teeny tiny little clip of the trailer.
I am working on a way to restore it. What are you really?
I am part of the new world. And you are part of the old.
Holy crap.
I know. It looks really intense.
That looks awesome.
And, you know, and I really hope we do get her on. I was doing a little bit of research on her, and she's such a phenomenal girl. She's so talented in so many different aspects as far as the things that she's capable of doing.
Yeah.
First of all, her agent must love her because she's got so many skills that are so useful in these roles.
Right.
And I love how in that last scene, even though she's this crazy machine, somehow she manages to do a nice little turn. On her toes. Nice. I'm like, okay. Anyway, so that's my little bit for news. What do you got for me?
Well, I'll say this. We got footage from Arrow Birds of Prey. It's going to be on sneakpeek.com, so you can go see Sneak Peek News and you can look at it. It's going to be, it's written by, our Birds of Prey, which was written by Mark Bemsdeffer or whatever, and AC Bradley. And I think that'll be a very interesting thing to get a sneak peek of. So for all of you guys that want to, go to Sneak Peek. For Arrow's recap for Suicide Squad, I feel like all the buzz we talked about tonight, we got everything anticipated. We talked about the anticipation of the Suicide Squad. Oh yeah, on Collider.com, Mark Guggenheim talks about Arrow Season 2. He talks about Oliver's Secret, the Suicide Squad, the Huntress, the Harley Quinn rumors, the Flash crossover. He talks about a lot of different things. So if you guys want to get a look at that, go to Collider.com. I would go into it in more detail, but I'm afraid my battery dies on my laptop. It's basically a laptop. Surface is amazing. And then if we go past that, we have the Birds of Prey promo images from Arrow featuring the Canary and the Huntress, which I think is going to be very cool.
Which I want to talk about in predictions.
Nice, very cool. Yeah, but those are like the three major things in the last like couple days that have come out, talking about Birds of Prey, the Huntress, you know, things like that. You can go see a preview. Collider.com, we can see some things going on. You know, a lot of stuff.
Very cool. Well, thank you for handling the news and gossip for this evening.
Nice, easy, simple, and quick. That's how I do it.
Let's talk about predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so you mentioned the Huntress, and tonight we got to see a little sneak peek of what's going on. Obviously, she's going to be in the next episode, and we see a battle between her and the Black Canary. So that's going to be really interesting because it's like girlfriend current versus ex-psycho girlfriend, and that's always a disaster when it's regular humans anyway. So then when you get the superheroes involved, you know that's going to be a really big fight.
Right.
What I will say, going back to the Huntress though, and I was thinking about it tonight actually, and the relationship she had with Oliver, and then versus the relationship that he now has with the Black Canary, they had absolutely no chemistry. The chemistry was so horrible between him and the Huntress, and then there was another girl when he was in Russia, and it was just terrible. So it's nice to see him with something true and genuine. I know that's not a prediction, but I had to bring that one up.
Right, yeah.
As far as everything else goes in the storyline, I think we're going to see a little bit of Moira next episode. I like how they have the one small clip where the woman is a pathological liar, clearly, and she even on her campaign, oh, my kids, they love to swim, and but girl, please. But anyway, I think we're gonna see a little bit more of her.
Right.
As far as Felicity, I don't know. This didn't tell me a whole lot about anything.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts for up and coming episodes?
Well, I have to at least say that Moira does have a point, because Oliver did sink in a ship and he was able to survive. And obviously he's going to hate swimming after something like that.
I mean,
and he did learn to swim at least at some sort of Olympic level to be able to survive being undertowed.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
But I will say on a more important note, while we finish this up, I think we're going to have to see a lot more going on Suicide Squad. My biggest prediction right now is that we're going to have to see Sarah die. If I think that's where we're headed, it's going to be set up for that, and I'm really scared, and I hope it doesn't happen. That's my predict.
Good one. Okay,
Thanks so much for listening, guys.
Yes.
You can find me at @mmowgli on Twitter, MOWGALI, and on Facebook, and /mmowgli, same stuff. And you can check out my stand-up shows as well.
And I'm Alikona Bradford. You can find me at Kiss My Passport. And as always, check out my website, alikonabradford.wix.com/television host. I have a blog on there if you're interested. Click on that. And I also do some videos on YouTube, so if you get a chance, YouTube me.
Gracias.
Until then, we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for joining us.
Gracias and hasta luego.
Wonderful day, wonderful night, afternoon, whatever it is that you're watching us on. Goodbye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. He's so late.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.